Hi guys, it's your 12.4 notes, multiplying a polynomial by a monomial, so many terms by one term. And I'm downstairs in the breakout room, so there might be a lot of noise as students walk by, so bear with me, but we'll try our best. This lesson I think you guys will think is so simple because we've done it before. The only difference for today is we're going to have exponents, which you guys are getting really good at. So all we have to remember for today is our power rules, and we're going to remember the power rule where we multiply. So if we have x to the third, x to the fourth, hopefully you remember that we're just going to add those exponents. That's the rule. So we're going to get x to the seventh. If you can remember that, this is going to be so simple today. So how do we multiply a polynomial by a monomial? Well, we're going to remember this power rule, and we're going to use the distributive property. Oops. I can already tell this lesson is going to be rough for Mrs. Sanford. So we're going to distribute, and then at the end, this is something that we haven't really had to do yet when we distribute. We're going to look for like terms, and we're going to combine them. So really only 2 steps today, so that's why I said it's going to be fairly simple for you guys. Terms, S, thank you. Okay, so this is probably the most challenging problem I would ever give you, but this is just to show you an example of what this is going to be like today. So here's our monomial, and here's our polynomial. So we're just going to distribute this monomial to everything. Oops, that was not very good. So we're going to distribute that monomial into everything into the polynomial. So if you go ahead and try the first one, we're going to get 4 times 3. We're going to multiply those coefficients. So 4 times 3 would give us 12. And then we have x squared and x to the first. So that's why it's really important to remember the power rules. So x squared times x to the first would be x to the third. Okay, so we're done with that one. If it helps you, you can cross that term off because you're done with it. So 4 times a negative 2, be careful of those signs in front. So 4 times a negative 2 would give us negative 8. And then we have x squared and x to the third. So if we add those exponents, we're going to have x to the fifth. And then we're going to keep distributing. So 4 times a positive 5 would give us positive 20. So I'm just multiplying the coefficients first. And then we have x squared, y to the third. Now, be very careful of this. X and y are not the same base, so I can't combine those exponents. So they're going to stay separate. So I have x squared and y to the third. Be very careful of that, guys. Do a little exclamation point under this if you're listening to this, because that is so important not to combine those if they don't have a base. So draw a little exclamation point. And then we have 4 times our last term, which would be 2x. So it's going to be positive 8. Oops, sorry guys. And then we have x squared, x to the first. So that's going to give us x to the third if we add those. So remember, when you're distributing, we're multiplying those coefficients. Okay? So at the very end, your second step is going to be combining like terms. So the variables and the exponents have to be exactly the same. So variables, so your letters and those little powers have to be exactly the same. So if I look at all of my terms here, the only thing that has the exact same variable and the same exponent would be x to the third, so 12x to the third, and 8x to the third. Those are the only things that I can combine. Now, when you are distributing, you multiply. When you're combining like terms, you're going to do whatever sign it is. So it's going to be either adding or subtracting. So multiply first. When you're combining like terms, add and subtract. So we have 12x to the third plus 8x to the third. Well, how many x to the thirds do I have? I have 20 x to the third. Now, I'm not going to add those exponents because that's only when I'm multiplying. I'm adding here. So a little different rule. Then I'm going to bring down everything else that I had. So I had an 8x to the fifth plus 20 x squared, y to the third. All right, so that was a super long problem. I will never give you one that long on a test or anything like that, but that was just to show you what it was like. So I'm only going to do a couple of these with you, and then I'm going to have you try it on your own. So this first one here, I'm going to have a monomial times a polynomial. So I'm going to multiply this times this, and this times this. This is more like the level I would give you guys. So I have negative 3 times a 1. So that would give us negative 3. And then I have z to the first times z to the first. So that gives me z to the second. I add those exponents. Okay, then I'm going to multiply here. So negative 3 times a positive 9 would give me a negative 27. And then I have z and nothing here. So I'm just going to have a z. So remember, always look, see if you have anything that's alike. I have a z to the second and just a z. So this is my final answer. All right, let's do one more and we'll call it a day. So I have this times this and this times this. So I have x squared times 2x squared. Well, that's a 2 in front because there's a 1 here. 2 times 1 is 2. So then I have x squared and x squared. I'm going to add those exponents. So I'm going to have x to the fourth. And then I have y to the first times y to the first. So that's a y. All right, then I'm going to multiply this times this. So 1 times negative 3 is going to give us a negative 3. And then I have x squared and x to the first, so that would give us x to the third. And then I have y times, there's no y over here, so I'm just going to keep it there. Then I'm going to look and make sure I don't have any like terms. I have x to the fourth y and x to the third y. Well, those aren't exactly the same, so that's my final answer. All right, I think you guys get the gist of this. I want you guys to try this one. Come to class with it. We'll see who's got it. Team points for the people that have it. All right, guys, if you want to get a head start on your final video, 12.5, that's going to be your homework tonight or tomorrow night. So if you want to just get a jump start on that so you don't have any homework, feel free. Otherwise, one more video and then you guys are done. All right, see you tomorrow.